With all of the negative headlines dominating the news these days, it can be difficult to spot signs of progress. What makes you optimistic about the future? The plummeting price of solar and wind energy. Absolute upvote. In Australia there has been incredible penetration of solar power in the last 10 years. All driven by the economics of solar power. In the last 10 years. Well, 2018 is even better than the last 10 years in terms of prices. Payoff periods. And sales of solar panels have reflected that. People are installing their panels en masse with zero subsidies. Businesses big and small, covering their roofs. It is so crazy. There may be a glut of power in SA when the sun shines. At least edit, SA equals South Australia. Thanks, you, Royal HGHNSS. In as few as 5 years' time. Considering the rate of growth. On one Sunday, a few months ago, greater than 50% of all power in SA was generated by rooftop solar alone. That's not even including wind and other large-scale renewables. We don't have hydro in SA. The magic of all this is that it only took a few years of government investment. The market has ramped up, partly in thanks to those subsidies. We are reaping benefits. And we will be for years to come. Greater than government investment. Cries in American asterisk. To add on to this, Tesla just released roof tiles that are panels. And are cheaper and stronger than regular roofing tiles. My uncle, a contractor, was super excited about it. I mean, I haven't heard much about ISIS recently. That's gotta be a good sign. They no longer control anything meaningful anymore. They're just your garden variety terrorist group now. Why do we even have that garden? Should we start calling them WAS? Assistant. Yup. They've not had territory in Iraq since 2017. I think they're on their last gasps in Syria too. ISIS is nothing now. Holy fuck. This post was made 7 minutes ago and already has 300 comments. But anyway, my mum told me about her diagnosis on Sunday. Both of her parents died of cancer too. 12 years apart. Hopefully in the near future. It's something we won't have to worry about. It's because Op is Bill Gates. Best of luck to your mum. Didn't even see that. And thank you. It's looking hopeful. They've caught it very early. Till Bill Gates is a karma whore. Not happy with him only getting cajillions of upvotes for his armor smiley face. At first I thought you were joking, but then I looked at OP's profile and holy shit. Hi Mr. Gates. That we're almost at the point where we get artificial organs. I could use a kidney. I could use a liver. Yay. But all jokes aside, best of luck to you and your organs. Technology is amazing. 1. Since 1990 the number of children who die before their 5th birthday has been cut in half. Saving 122 million young lives. 2. In the same period, the fraction of people living in extreme poverty has gone from 1/3 to 1/10. 3. More than 90% of children now attend primary school worldwide. 4. Women now make up more than 1/5 of members of parliaments around the world. 5. Workplace and road safety in the US has risen dramatically since our grandparents' time. You just gave Bill Gates an answer from Bill Gates. It's an amazing world we live in, isn't it? Greater than road safety in the US has risen dramatically since our grandparents' time. Wow. Really? That really shocks me considering how much faster cars are and how many more things we have to distract us. Automotive engineering and safety standards. People though are still just as bad at driving. You know, with all the cynicism and the stories that the media put out these days. It almost feels like humans are failing. For example, I can't count the number of times someone has said, "I've lost faith in humanity," after watching something like Black Mirror. But we really don't realize that we are probably living in the best time and that humanity as a whole is improving. We are not getting worse. And stats like these strongly suggest that the best is yet to come. And we will get there. The possible return of the American chestnut tree. Fast-growing, rot-resistant and, perhaps most important, it produces enough calories from the nuts to feed a population. The death of the American chestnut is also partially responsible for the severity with which the Great Depression struck Appalachia. Chestnuts were a primary food supply for backup reserves in the form of herds of pigs that were allowed free roam. The pigs could be sold or slaughtered to keep families afloat during hard times. The disappearance of the chestnuts killed the viability of the pig herds, causing the economic failsafe to collapse ecologically at the same time that the Great Depression made monetary reserves worthless. This sounds like a dissertation. All 7 of my honeybee colonies are currently surviving the winter. And today they're bringing in the first pollen of the year. Yay! Go bees! Advancements in medicine and gene therapy. The CRISPR technology has me very excited. Also, the James Webb Space Telescope is going to bring about many new discoveries. It feels like we haven't had a huge discovery recently. Hopefully we get something big within a decade or so. IDK Man. Evidence of the Higgs boson and the gravitational wave detection from LIGO were both pretty big news. Well, we did find the Higgs boson. And 10 years ago we knew of only a handful of exoplanets, and now there are hundreds that are confirmed to exist and have even been imaged in limited ways. Plus there was that supernova we got footage of from the instant it happened from our perspective that was published like yesterday. And CRISPR and other gene editing tools aren't even 10 years old yet. I think the bigger thing is that we've had so many varied breakthroughs in so many fields we may have forgotten how amazing some of the things coming out on the daily are. Like, SpaceX landing a rocket booster is already a ho-hum. That's neat sorta thing, and they only just started nailing it. Growing up as a kid and seeing old sci-fi where rocket ships landed thrusters down was cartoonish and unrealistic to me. Now it's on the way to becoming commonplace. Breakthroughs for days, man. I'm reminded of Sam's speech to Frodo in Osgiliath in the Two Towers. It's like in the great stories Mr. Frodo, the ones that really mattered. Full of darkness and danger they were. And sometimes you didn't want to know the end. Because how could the end be happy? How could the world go back to the way it was when so much bad had happened? But in the end, it's only a passing thing. This shadow, even darkness must pass. A new day will come. And when the sun shines it will shine out the clearer. Those were the stories that stayed with you. That meant something. Even if you were too small to understand why. Folk in those stories had lots of chances of turning back, only they didn't. Because they were holding on to something, that there's some good in this world. Mr. Frodo. And it's worth fighting for. I can't carry the ring, Mr. Frodo. But I can carry you. I also think on these two quotes when looking to be optimistic about the world. Some believe it is only great power that can hold evil in check. But that is not what I have found. It is the small everyday deeds of ordinary folk that keep the darkness at bay. Small acts of kindness and love. Why Bilbo Baggins? Perhaps because I am afraid. And he gives me courage. When I was a boy and I would see scary things in the news, my mother would say to me, "Look for the helpers." You will always find people who are helping. To this day, especially in times of disaster, I remember my mother's words, and I am always comforted by realizing that there are still so many helpers, so many caring people in this world. Advancements in health studies and science for health has improved living conditions tenfold and continue to do so. So that makes me pretty optimistic. No one lives forever. No one. But with advances in modern science and my high-level income, it's not crazy to think I can live to be 245. Maybe 300. ETA, this is a quote from Talladega Nights. I'm not being serious, smiley face. They say the first human who will live to 150 has already been born. I believe I am that human. Mental illness awareness is growing rapidly, and people are more and more willing to assist those in need. Not only that, but people with mental illness are become less and less ashamed of said illnesses and actually seeking out help. Stigma goes both ways. I'm going to nursing school, and every time I hear about the advances in the medical field I get excited. Japan just approved a medicine that they claim can cure the flu in 1 day. The merging of medicine and technology is extremely fascinating. I saw a video of a prototype that was virtual scan of someone's body. Inside and out. You could remove organs and see what was under them. If that can catch on, it will dramatically help surgeons plan for more successful outcomes. Edit to add video of scanner. I have a neuropace in my brain to help control seizures. Responsive neurostimulation. I'm on the first few steps of transhumanism, and I wake up every day realizing that this cutting-edge technology in my skull will one day be the pegleg of neurological procedures. Press forth, my friend. About 10 years ago I was diagnosed with an irregular cornea on one eye, that topmost layer. The doctors said that a transplant was not advisable at the time, but told me to come back in 10 years as progress was made. I checked back 2 years ago, and truthfully, transplants were now well developed. 1 year later, I got a new cornea. It still can't grasp that a field can move so fast. I'm a computer engineer, and have always sucked at biology and chemistry. But holy fuck, medicine is cool.